Jimmy, this is MC Alfred.
Everybody, now we want to welcome to the Jimmy Star Show with Ron Russell, the incredibly talented actor, Mr. Sean Whalen. Hello and welcome to the show.
Hello, everybody. How are you?
We are fantastic. Let me introduce you to my outrageous man about town co-host, Mr. Ron Russell.
Hello, Ron.
I'm still terrified.
You're still terrified.
About under the stairs. I mean, you are one psycho nut whack.
But I was the hero.
He was the hero.
No, he played. Yeah, but he was still a psycho whack because he played Roach, right?
Yeah, he played Roach.
He played Roach.
Yes,
Right?
yes, but I end up being the martyr and save the day.
That's
I
right.
know that, but look at the creeps you had to deal with. I mean,
Yeah.
normal
But
people would have.
I mean, that's what was fun being Roach, because I got to really give them a hard time. I kind of made their life miserable for treating everybody that way. That's why, if you think about it, Roach was smart enough to leave, but he didn't. He stayed to mess with them.
That's
right.
why he was crazy, because a normal person would have took off.
But he was there. Yes, but he was there to protect the little girl.
That's right.
It was a good movie.
Which, by the way, I love.
It's a good movie.
I love her. CJ Langer, right? Was the girl?
CJ Langer.
Yes, that's right. I love her.
How can you get that film on Redbox or something? Where do you get it?
No, you just
Get it anywhere.
Hulu everywhere.
You know what? Let's watch it one night when we have time.
Okay.
I'd love to see it again.
I love it. I have it actually on, but we don't have a DVD player. But anyway, hold on. We got to introduce you to people. Let me introduce you to the man behind the boards, Mr. Chad Murphy.
Mr. Whalen. Mr. Whalen, welcome to the show. Loved you and Twister.
Thank you, sir.
And then we've got a chat room with like Germany, Canada, the UK, Estonia, I don't know,
Australia.
United States, Australia, a whole bunch of people. So just say hi to everybody in the chat room.
Hello, planet Earth.
That's about right.
So one thing I didn't know about you, because I'm a big horror movie buff, so like I know that you've done a lot of really cool horror movies and everything, but I had no idea. And I saw you when we saw Jersey Boys, and I was like, oh my God, there's Sean Whalen in Jersey Boys, But in my head, I didn't really get that you've done so much comedy and that you're a soapy.
Yes, I was.
I didn't know he was a soapy.
We love soapies. We're really good friends. You were on The Bold and the Beautiful, and we've had Sean Kanan's been on the show a bunch of times, and Ian Buchanan has been on the show, and Bobby Eakes has been on the show, and they were all on Bold and Beautiful. And you also did a couple episodes of Young and the Restless and Days of Our Lives, and we've had about 30 soapies on the show. So I didn't know you were a soapy, so way to go. I think that's super cool. And how is that different than like all the other stuff that you do? Soapies are harder.
It's not easy. It's not easy, but it's the best gig in town. If I was a hottie young man, I would be on a soap, because it's the best gig in town. Because you get in there and you're either there from 10 to 1, or the one I was on, because it was a half an hour. It'd be 10 to 1 or 10 to 4 or 5 or 9 to 1 p.m. 9 to 1 p.m. It was short, quick, because they have to move. They have to get
right.
You get a couple takes. So the nice thing is the acting depth and how well you want to do it is up to you. So you can put as much effort as you want to. If you were just wanted to skate by, learn lines, and spit out the lines, but no one does that because they see it's such a great opportunity, and you really can dig into a character, but you only get 1 or 2 bites at the apple.
Right.
Usually just one shot, one take. Usually.
One of our friends, who's a very famous soaper, said he would really like to do some quality acting. That in soap operas you really have to know your lines, hit them, go, and that, like you said. But he would really like to do a motion picture where there was a really meaty, piece for him to do. And most soapies are frustrated because it's all the same rhythm, the same timing, but it's a steady check, and they like that.
Yeah, I mean, it's steady work. Look,
check.
We have a cost to everything, right? We want to be in movies, but movies are sporadic and few and far between. And but I think you can do a lot with a soap opera character. The only thing that's frustrating is, and I can concur with them, is that you repeat a lot of the same information because someone came in the middle of the week then they missed 2 episodes ago. You want to keep everybody always up to date, so you're always referring to the same kind of things. So I understand, what they're saying. You have to come up with 10 different ways to say, wait, I wasn't at that place.
Exactly, exactly.
It was somewhere else.
But it's a steady paycheck, and that's what actors need. All we actors need to get paid.
Well, I've seen everything that you've done that's horror, and now that I realized it, because I went down your IMDb today to look at it, and I've actually seen almost all the comedy stuff that you've done too. A lot of times I don't even know I realized it was you because I wasn't looking for you in it. But one thing I want to know about, because you were on 2 episodes of Life as We Know It, and to me that was like one of the greatest shows that didn't make it. It's like it's one of the greatest shows that didn't make it. I loved all the characters in it. I thought it was a great show, and you were in 2 episodes. Did you like that show, and why do you think that show didn't make it?
Well, the thing was, my neighbor and good friend Jeff Judah, who helped create Night Shift with his partner Gabe Sachs, and they had created it, and I thought it was great too. It was a really good drama about life and school and everything. And then they brought me up there, and I did 1 episode where I met Adam Horowitz and Eddie Kitsis, who went on to do Once Upon a Time, but they went on Lost, and they brought me on Lost based on that. So,
which was a huge hit show. I loved Lost.
Great.
Don't you know that all the good shows are taken off the air and they leave the garbage on? Like the guy who makes knives now, they cut meat on the TV show. What are they called? They sharpen knives. Ever see that stupid thing?
No,
it's a reality show about a bunch of jerky guys. They get knives and they sharpen them and they chop hanging meat. And meanwhile, they took. I
haven't seen that.
It's horrible. And they took Fran Drescher's show off the air, which was Happily Divorced. I mean, a wonderful little show. And your show was a good show, and they took it off the air. And they put men chopping meat on it.
So the other thing, because I love Life as We Know It, and actually a lot of the people from it have gone on to have really good careers. So it was a good stepping stone for people. The other thing I love a lot, and I watch it every time it comes on, is Never Been Kissed. I think it's like the cutest movie ever, and I didn't really get that was you in it. And it's funny because it was on TV a couple of days ago when I watched it, and I was like, oh my God, it was you, and I was like, oh my God, I didn't get that you were in it, because I really thought you were more of like a horror guy, but you're just an actor, and you're in everything, and you have not been typecast into one thing like a lot of the other horror actors.
I've been really blessed that I have done every single genre that there is. I don't think there's not one genre I haven't done.
Even kids.
I bet you have.
You've done all the kids, too. Kids shows.
Wait. Hang on. Hold it. Oh, don't go any further.
Yeah.
I bet you never did it in drag.
I never did. No, but that's not a type of show.
No, but you said every genre of actor.
All right. I have done. Yes, I have.
You haven't done drag yet, so it's not every genre. You have done drag. I have to see.
All right, I'm going to pull it up for you right now.
I love it.
What did you do drag on?
I did the movie The FP. It's an independent movie. Okay, I'm going to get you a picture right now.
I love this. This is going to be the best. The Roach is in drag, folks.
You've also done so many great kids things like Lab Rats. I don't know. You have a bunch.
Oh my God!
Gosh, yeah!
He really did it,
Other way.
John.
He's done it all.
You've done it all. You really did.
Done it all. You can't say. Don't throw that at me.
No, that was good.
Some of the things really I'm gonna do some bragging for you real quick.
All right.
So here's some of the things that you guys may or may not know that Sean Whalen was in, because I've seen all these things and I didn't even realize it was him. He's got such a great career and he's worked with some of the biggest stars in Hollywood. But he was in Waterworld, which everybody didn't like and it bombed. But I liked Waterworld. I thought it was fun.
I thought it was too slow.
He was in Twister, Suicide Kings with who's the guy who used to ride the train with? That had the bakery?
My friend, Chris Walken.
Yeah, Christopher Walken. He was in Never Been Kissed, Idle Hands, and we had Devon Sawa on the show. He was in Charlie's Angels, Employee of the Month, which is very kind of like NBC Superstore a little bit.
Yes.
Vaguely like.
Too.
Yeah, and then you're on NBC Superstore also. He was, and then he did the great horror movie, Halloween 2, not the best horror movie, but a fun horror movie. Laid to Rest, which was a great horror movie.
Yeah.
He was on the TV show Lost, Criminal Minds. I don't have all his TV shows, you guys. He's been in like every show that's on the planet. Revenge,
Friends,
Lab Rats, Castle, Brooklyn Nine-Nine. He was in the movie Jersey Boys, which you loved.
Loved the movie.
He played the music producer.
I remember.
Yeah.
Loved the movie.
He was
that.
in Hatchet 3 with Danielle Harris, Caroline Williams, Kane Hodder, Zach Galligan, and Derek Mears. They've all been in our show, is why I mentioned
we
them.
love Caroline. Caroline Williams. She's one of my specialist people in the world.
And then a couple years ago, we had a bunch of people from the movie Blood Brothers on. We had Barbara Crampton and Hannah Levine on, and and you were in that. And then you're in Death House, which has to be the #1 horror movie that has the more stars in it that everybody knows than any movie ever. Literally, like 30 of the people in that movie have been on our show. I wrote them all down, but there's too many to go over all of them. So I think that it's so amazing. Do you have a preference of all the different because you've done every genre and you're actually very funny because I went back and watched a bunch of the comedy stuff that you've done that I didn't really realize it was even you. Do you have a preference of the genre that you do, or you just like doing all of them?
I would say comedy. I love comedy. I love doing comedy, and I just booked a big studio comedy movie that I'm flying out to shoot next week. But I'm not allowed to say anything about it. You know
that's
the way
okay.
Now.
Yes,
we know that. We know that bullshit.
It's a studio movie that will be in theaters with big comedy names in it that you will recognize for sure. And
congratulations,
a big comedy name, so it's great. So
I love it.
So you're making money.
I'm making some money. I mean, but with actors, we cannot. Listen, I truly believe there's no such thing as just an actor anymore. I don't think those days. Sorry, my cat is getting into the show. Sorry.
Yay, hi, kitty.
We have a dog that does that.
Does that bother anybody? Is it going to hurt?
No. So go ahead, finish.
No. But, and the best example is, Brad Pitt's only Academy Award was for producing 12 Years a Slave. Bradley Cooper is now helping to co-write, direct, and shoot his movie, A Star is Born. George Clooney's been doing writing and producing. No one does one thing anymore, so we can't just. The days of getting an agent, getting some headshots, and waiting for the phone to ring, they're just over.
Yeah, gone.
I tell my students, it's like you wouldn't go into a record shop and go, "Oh, can I please sell you my 8-track tape?" It doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. So you need to expand yourself. You need to be an actor-writer. You need to be an actor-writer or an actor-director or an actor-producer. You have to, or more than that.
So what are you doing, though?
I'm a writer. I've got a horror movie that I'm getting financed called Crust. It's a horror comedy. I co-wrote it, starring in it, and directing it.
There you go.
Triple threat.
And I'm a teacher as well. I teach comedy improv over at Jeff Goldblum School Playhouse West. I do looping, which is post-production, which is kind of filling in voices. It's a voiceover job. You have to do everything. I also do workshops. I'm also a landlord. There's no such thing as one thing anymore. I don't know in the arts if you can just do that.
I think you're right.
But do you agree? Do you agree that if you're not in the social media world, you're nowhere? You have to be on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook.
Yeah.
You have to be.
And I'm good on it. I'm not fantastic on it. I do need to get better, but I have a podcast. It's Maria Menounos' company with her husband, Kevin Undergaro, called AfterBuzz TV, one of the biggest download networks there is. And they have me. I'm a podcaster, and I do a podcast called How to Be an Actor. And I do an episode every week about the right attitude, breaking down a scene, how to get an agent, a bunch of different topics on how to survive the business. Surviving the show part and the business part. So that's what I'm saying. You can't do one thing. You have to always put yourself out there. And I agree with you. The social media is important.
Well, because years ago, we would go to a go-see. 1,000 people would show up for the go-see. You were lucky if you got to audition. Today, you send your audition by computer to the producers. So you don't have to bust your ass anymore going anywhere. They look at your work. If they like you, they hire you. But that has brought out millions of people who want to be actors and actresses. Right. Everybody and their mother now is sending out auditions, and producers that I know say, Ron, we can't possibly look at them all.
Right. I mean, so that old model is still there, that you still, but they have to look at their resume. And if you have a credible agent, if you have a credible manager, if you have a resume of work, if you have a good reel, they don't just look at anybody off the street. They still have a filter with the casting director.
They pick the names.
Let me ask you a question.
Well,
Are you? Do you have children?
I do.
That's what their artwork is.
Well, I wasn't sure because he's a teacher, but I was thinking the people he teaches acting are probably too young.
My daughters are 18 or 17 and 14. But what we do on every Halloween is all the artwork they did when they were little kids, we put up on the walls. It's all
my gosh.
So did I. It's a daddy thing. I did the same thing. I still have my kids. My daughter's going to be 50. I still have her schoolwork in a box.
Yes.
We should.
I won't throw anything out.
I want to tell everybody too. We met Sean at the Betrayed premiere a couple weeks ago in L.A. and he was with. Okay, so was that your wife or your girlfriend that we met?
Friend Gina.
Your girlfriend Gina, who was fabulous. Say hi to Gina, everybody. She's fabulous. Sheena. Okay. Sheena was. Like Sheena Metal.
No, like
I love Sheena Easton.
Like Sheena Queen of the Jungle.
Sheena. So we met Sheena, you guys, and she's fabulous.
Sheena, Queen of the Jungle. Where I had green all over my face, and I had animals and stuff. I should pull it up. But I was the jungle. She was Sheena, Queen of the Jungle, and I was the jungle.
One Halloween, my ex and I went as Jane Russell, and I went as what the hell was it? And I lost it. Anyway, I lost the joke of it. He was Tarzan and I was Jane. That's what it was.
Oh, that's it. Tarzan.
Stephen was Tarzan and I was Jane, but I was Jane Russell.
So do you have, out of all the different horror films that you have been in since Halloween is coming up, do you have one of them that was the best experience out of all the different horror films that you did?
I mean, it wasn't even close. People Under the Stairs holds so much for me because it was my first film.
You're kidding?
That
was the first film?
My first film, and it was number one at the box office for 6 weeks. So
you did a good job for firstie.
Oh, actually,
are you serious?
Yeah, but I had done a lot of commercials. And
that's your first feature film?
That was my first feature film. Yeah.
That's Wes Craven too, right? Wes Craven did that.
You did a great job on that.
So they want to know in the chat room, we have a celebrity photographer. His name is Billy Hess, and he wants to know how it was working with Wes Craven, that he actually shot Wes Craven for a photo shoot. And
he was fabulous. He was such a nice, sweet man. He knew it was my first film, but he also knew I took the work really seriously, and he always let me, emotionally prepare. He wanted me to, he made us feel so safe and take it seriously.
Yeah, but that was heavy stuff for a first.
It was heavy stuff.
Get out of here. You were holding the film together.
Yeah. So
weren't you scared?
No, because
nervous.
It's all technical when you're there. But there was scary stuff. I mean, when they shot gunshots at you, you heard them, and they were near you, and it was scary. That was scary. But no, he's basically like you would never think he is. If you see his writing and looked at him, he's not the loud, obnoxious uncle at the barbecue that's cooking the burgers. He's the quiet uncle in the corner that's being very sweet and playing with the kids and being a super nice guy. He's just very mellow and very sweet. He was like a daddy figure to us because we had, Brandon Adams, who was 11, AJ Langer, who was just 19, me, who was 27. Ving Rhames was young, too. He was in his early 30s. There wasn't a lot of, people who had done a lot before that movie except for Wendy and Everett, who played the parents. So
now, would you consider that film the film that launched you?
You know what? It didn't, because people didn't back then in the early 90s. Horror didn't mean anything. There was no. Now, if you're in a big horror movie now, it could launch you, but back then it was kind of dismissed. even though it was the #1 movie for 6 weeks. But I think it definitely helped me because when I got the milk commercial a couple years later, the Got Milk commercial, Spielberg loved it, and they, fell in love with me from that and wanted to use me in Twister and Men in Black and stuff like that. They did have that movie at least to look at and say, oh, he knows what he's doing. So
right.
I was really lucky. And I had no lines, so that's a really great thing to have on a first film.
I know, but you sure had to be active. I mean, running between all the walls all the time and crawling and everything. I mean, it was a very physical role.
Yeah, I was 27 playing a 15-year-old. But it was awesome. I loved playing that role. I loved it. But I had a coach that helped me figure out he's not just creepy yelling and screaming. He's a kid who is stuck as being a kid and having fun, messing around with everybody and playing and being, messing around with the people that kept him there, the unkind, cruel people that were the bad guys. So he loved messing with them. And so that's how I played it, was as happy-go-lucky and, seeing that I could help. And I loved things.
And it's such an iconic film now. I mean, because looking back on it, because I'm a horror movie buff. I have hundreds and hundreds of horror movies, from the really good ones to the really crap that you just can't even believe, that people do. But doing your very first film, doing it, I mean, I don't know if back then if Wes Craven, it's the same as if you were to do it for Wes Craven now before he died. I don't know if he was really big then or he was up and coming just like everybody else was up and coming. Because in my head.
Freddy. He had already done Freddy.
Okay, yeah, so because he's such an iconic director. I mean, he's in the top 5 horror movie directors of all time.
Absolutely. I mean, and this was the period between Freddy and Scream that he was doing, Shocker and the Serpent and the Rainbow. He was doing strange stuff, and he was playing around. But from that era, this one definitely is one of the ones that people like a lot.
Absolutely.
I have to ask you something that I ask many of our guests.
Please do.
The most disgusting film that has ever been filmed.
Oh, you've never even seen it.
I could vomit from it. Tell him what it's called.
He probably wants to know what you think of the Human Centipede, because I had everybody from the Human Centipede on the show.
I started to watch it. I couldn't get through it.
I think it is the most appalling, vulgar.
I've seen all 3 of them.
Well, you're a nut. But, I mean, I couldn't even bear to watch one. I think it's just sick.
No, the first one was excellent. The second and third one were not any good at all. But the first one was such a cool premise. Yes, it was disgusting, and we had everybody on it. We had the director and all the stars on it, and I loved it.
Now, who's the star of that movie? I mean, we see each other at horror films horror conventions all the time.
There's the
guy that's the main the leader.
Oh, Dieter Laser.
No, the guy is the old scientist.
Yeah, that's Dieter. His name's Dieter something. Dieter.
Not Dieter. No, that's not right.
Hang on, let's look it up.
We gotta look it up. Yeah.
No, I'm pretty sure it's Dieter something.
Are you sure? All right.
Yeah.
Let me see.
Have you ever worked with my dearest friend in the world, Sadie Katz?
I have not.
Oh, she's wonderful. You should work with her. That's quite a
Dieter Laser. He played the scientist.
Wait, the old bald guy?
He's not really bald. He has hair, just not a lot.
That heavy set man?
Oh, that's the second one.
Oh, second one.
That's the second one. Okay, yeah, that's the second one. No, his name is, hold on, let's see, Lawrence Harvey.
Lawrence, that's who I know. I know Lawrence.
Are you serious? My Lawrence Harvey?
No, you don't know him. No, you don't know him.
Not Lawrence Harvey, the wonderful actor.
No.
From the Manchurian Candidate?
No, this is recent, last 10 years.
How could it have the same name? It's against the union.
Actually, you'll love Saturn. Yeah, lots of people have the same names.
You can't, not allowed.
No, you're right. It's against the union, but I think it's spelled
different. SAG doesn't approve
it's Lawrence H. Harvey or something. Or Lawrence R. Harvey.
Yeah, they have to do something. He can't possibly.
You'll love Sadie Katz.
Oh, I love her.
Yeah, now how would I know her?
She was the queen in Wrong Turn. No, she was in Wrong Turn 6, which was one of the best ones because she plays a psycho.
And they're remaking it.
No, they're remaking the original, not the 6th one.
Yeah, that's what I said.
She was at the event that we met you at. Actually,
she was with us.
She was with us.
Thin blonde, the pretty girl with the blonde hair.
Yeah.
She was in Wrong Turn 6, Last Resort. She just sold one of her movies to Lionsgate.
She's in Hanukkah now.
Party Bus to Hell, Grindsploitation, Blood Feast.
And now she's in Hanukkah, which is the first
She's
time
in Hanukkah.
They're doing a rabbi that's a psycho. Instead of a priest, it's always crazy.
Yeah, that was Felissa Rose was on that.
Yes,
That's
Felissa
right.
Rose.
Felissa
yes.
was on it, and isn't Caroline in it?
Yeah, Caroline's in it too.
And Caroline Williams is in it.
He was in a movie with Caroline Williams, though.
He said she's a doll.
Actually, he's been in several movies with Caroline. I think 3 movies with Caroline Williams, because I think she was in Halloween 2, and she was in Hatchet 3, and she was in Death House. No, I don't think she was in Death House.
I love her. She's one of our nicest friends.
Yeah, she's fantastic. All right, Sadie Katz. Okay.
She's great.
You'll see her because she's like an up-and-coming phenomenal actress.
Yeah, she's
and
good.
she writes a lot of her own scripts, and then sells them to Lionsgate.
She's shooting a movie now called Clown Highway soon.
I gotta love it. I love it.
It's going to be good. It's a spoof on clown movies.
So you've worked with almost like everybody on the planet, because if you go down your IMDb and see who's in all the movies that you're in. So if you had a bucket list of someone you have not, a male and a female you haven't been able to work with yet, who's on your bucket list? And then while you're thinking about it, if you could have been in any movie that's ever been made in history, these are the questions I like to ask every week. If you could be in any movie that's ever been made in history, what movie would you have liked to have been in? So you can't pick one you've already been in.
Okay. Well, female actress, I think it would have to be Meryl Streep. I would love to do.
Everybody with Meryl Streep. Everyone loves Meryl Streep.
Right,
there
because
are other actresses better than her out there.
It's not about that. It's my ex-wife waited on her before. I know friends who know her through different circles. She's supposed to be just a wonderful person. So
I met her in an elevator in New York. She was very sweet with her daughter years ago.
Yeah, and just to be able to watch that go down. I don't know. I think I would like to work actor-wise. I mean, I'd love to work with. Let's see. I mean, it'd be fun to work with Steve Buscemi. Everyone says that I look like Steve Buscemi. So
you do look kind of like him.
A little bit, yeah.
Do something with him, like some of his brothers.
You could be brothers, right?
Yeah, exactly. That would be a blast. That would be a blast. And a movie that I wish I could have been in, there were some that okay, sorry, my cat's got a plastic bag.
What is that?
His cat's got a plastic bag.
So a movie I could have been in, I mean, I got a very small part in Men in Black. It was the part was amazing, though. It was a part of Tommy Lee Jones. So I was officially in it. So it had to be something I've never been in, right?
Yeah.
I was going to be, gosh, it's just right off the top of my head, but I was going to be in Wayne's World, and I screwed up that audition as part of the famous, when they listen to Bohemian Rhapsody and they're all rocking their heads.
Yes.
Yeah, I went to the drunk guy, but I was studying serious acting. They knew me from comedy, and I did it too straight, and they kept on saying, be funny, and I was like, I'm a serious actor, and I didn't know how to switch it. And I wish I could have been in that. It's an iconic role,
Yes.
Iconic
In
moment.
Wayne's World, yes.
Yeah, it was really fun. But I mean, if you really want to do like big, great movies of all times, of course, I'd like to be in the Star Wars franchise.
There you go. That's more up my alley.
Big paycheck.
Yeah.
Great movies.
Yeah, or some of the earlier ones and stuff.
Did you ever have a director say to you, "Do not act, we want you"?
What do you? Oh, yeah. Ang Lee did that to me. Ang Lee, yeah. They broke me down, man. They kept on digging. Yeah, and they just say, he said, I dug and dug until I found you, but I found you.
I have a movie coming up. We're shooting in Santa Clarita soon, where I play a minister.
Okay.
But they said, "Do not act. We want you, your crazy personality." And I thought, how do you do that? How do you be you? It's easier to be somebody else. Think about it. I mean, how do you be you? Do I know who I am? Do you know who you are?
Yeah, well, they'll help you. they'll obviously just make an environment that you can be yourself.
Well,
you know?
they wanted to be a campy gay minister who marries people in Las Vegas, so I guess they chose me.
Yeah, he's pretty campy and gay. So
yeah,
that
I'm kind of crazy and wild, but I don't know how to do that in a film. I could do that off the top of my head, but to go shoot
they'll probably give you leeway with the script, I would assume.
Well, I said that we'll shoot it with the script, and then we'll shoot it without the script, and then you pick whichever you like.
That's a good idea. Then you'll get more of
then
you.
You'll get me, because I don't speak the way the script is written.
There you go.
It's too proper English. I'm from Brooklyn.
Yeah, there you go. That's exactly right.
But how do you feel about that? If I was a director and I said, I want you, I don't want any acting, I want your real, true personality.
I think I would do exactly what you did. I would say, well, I'll learn.
Shoot it 2 ways.
Yeah, but I definitely, you got to, if you want me, you have to give me leeway with the script, because that's, that you don't know me as well as I know me, and I know how I would respond to things. So,
exactly.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what I would do.
That's what I'm going to have to do. I mean, I've acted, for 58 years I'm in the business, and I've been everything from a priest to a mafioso to everything, to a drag queen. But being me, that's a whole new thing. I've never been me. I've never been me.
I think you'll be fine, and I think they'll give you the space and the right direction to do it.
We'll see. We'll see. If not,
it should be fun.
They'll kick me off the set and get somebody else.
There you go.
So what about...
Do I give a shit at my age? No.
He doesn't know your age.
I'm 78 years old, 58 years in the business. Yeah, 58 years. My first movie was with Sophia Loren and Tab Hunter in 1959. Did I luck out for a firstie? But I didn't have any lines. Thank you.
But so we're married, and we're actually married, so we bicker a lot because we're married. But he's 78, and he doesn't look it. So I have a question for you. So you have 2 grown daughters. I mean, because they're almost grown. Are your children interested in going into the entertainment industry, and would you encourage it or would you not encourage it?
No interest, none at all, because they see the struggle.
Yes.
Not just the ups and downs, the inconsistency, and they're more
the heartbreak.
Yeah, I mean they're more pragmatic, and and they see that nothing comes to me. I create my own opportunities. You have to create your own opportunities.
Absolutely.
My daughter Deirdre's an actress, and I keep saying to her, Deirdre, at what point do you say, okay, I'm done?
Yeah.
Or are you going to continue till you're 100, pursuing your career as an actress? And she said, whatever happens, happens. Tomorrow I could get a part and win an Academy Award. And that's every actor's fantasy.
Yeah.
And it does happen,
How about you? Did you have a fantasy about a script coming your way that would get you an Academy Award?
Absolutely. I mean, of course we.
It's our dream.
All of our dream that you get the role of a lifetime, right? I mean.
Yeah.
Matthew McConaughey reinvented himself, and people now see him as a serious actor because of what he did on True Detective and Texas Buyers Club. And, he transformed himself and made people understand that he was a real actor. And that was great. I mean, so, of course, we all want that. But I can't complain. I think, of course, we'd all like to work more. But I think you were saying what I'd love to do. I wish I had a series. I wish I had a good series that ran a really nice chunk, a long time comedy series that I could do. I'm working on one with my friends right now that we did a play for 9 months, and now we're developing it. And that would be a dream, to do a series and to have a big, long, creative thing that I'm co-writing and producing and being a part of. That would be a blast.
I'm interested in a series that I may be up for, but it hasn't gone on the air yet because of the subject matter, of which I'm not allowed to speak about.
Of course.
But it's very progressive.
Yeah.
And I think that the network's a little afraid of it. It's not vulgar or dirty. It's just progressive.
Well, then you got other outlets now, right? You have.
Well, I've got five movies coming up with little shitty parts, but like Norma Desmond said, there are no small parts. Only small actors. So I don't care. For me now, it's no longer the challenge, the wish, the dream. Now it's the fun, and that's what I'm going to tell you. I want to tell you this: when you're my age, 78 years old, you will be working, but it's for the fun of it. You're not going to be and all of this bullshit that we had when I was young. Oh my God, when I was young, it was, oh, this is it going to be, but all that bullshit. Yeah. No, now I do it for fun, and I do it because I'm working with Sadie Katz on Clown Highway, Caroline Williams. I mean, all these people that I love. So how could you not, don't you enjoy? It's like going to hang out with your friends. I don't give a shit about the movie. I like the lunch and hanging out and gossiping.
I think one thing you said, though, for people, because we do have a lot of people who want to be in entertainment that listen, the fact that you told everybody you really have to do a whole bunch of things and nobody makes it just as an actor, actor, producer, director, writer. And I think that's in anything that you want to do in entertainment. Like, we have this show, and I'm not really a good actor, but I get put in because of my social media and publicity skills. And I'm a publicist, and I'm a writer. I have like a couple of best-selling books on Amazon that I'm trying to turn into things. And so I'm actually, I do all the different things too, but I primarily support myself as a publicist, and I get invited into all these things.
Stop right there. I've got to tell you this. Listen to this. Linda Chorney has me in a film. We're shooting it in Arizona. I'm playing all-black cowboy, 1800s. I killed a sheriff. And guess who Jimmy plays? My concubine. I'm
going to play the Chinese concubine without...
It's a comedy.
It's a comedy. I don't even have any words. I'm just going to be like in a kimono, like hopping around.
He cleans up the blood after I shoot the sheriff. Could you picture Jimmy Star as an Asian concubine? Yeah. I cannot wait. It's going to be hilarious. I don't know how I'm going to shoot it without going hysterical.
I just like to be in. I've been in a ton of films, and I'm only in it. I get a line if I'm lucky, and I don't even care because I just do it for the fun. Because
are you going to shave your beard?
I don't know what I'm going to do. We'll find out. But I think that it's I just think it's like a lot of fun to be in them and be in the environment, and a lot of times that's how I get like all my publicity clients, because I work with primarily actors and musicians, and so it just makes the whole thing fun. And really, for me, I just want to be in shitty horror movies because horror movies are my favorite. He's a real actor, and I like if I could be in some of the horror movies that you've been in, like that would make my day. Like Laid to Rest, what a great concept of a movie. I thought that was like the greatest concept of a movie, where the killer like wears a camera on his head where he's killing everybody. You see him killing them all, and it was very forward thinking and and so I just really want to be in shitty horror movies. He could be in real movies because he can act.
I've been in movies, but I was in one horror movie which I did in
terrible
Pennsylvania, and I vowed I'd never do it again. I mean, I asked the director, "Where's my marks?" He said, "We don't have any." I said, "Well, where's the camera? What are we doing?" He said, "Oh, just walk around and talk. We'll follow you."
That's great.
And I thought, oh my God.
So we have 2 hours. So
wait a minute, one thing.
2 minutes, 2
we're
minutes.
supposed to be in a morgue with a dead body. Well, we couldn't get in the morgue because they wouldn't let us, so he used the garage. And he opened the garage door for light. I mean,
hang on to though. All right, everybody. So this is Sean Whalen. He's got a phenomenal career and body of work. Go on IMDb, find all this stuff. Since it is Halloween, the next week you guys should definitely watch Hatchet 3 and Halloween 2, and you got to see The People Under the Stairs.
Definitely that.
Watch all his comedy work. Watch Never Been Kissed because it's one of the greatest movies ever. And if you want to follow him on Twitter, it's harder to find him, so you got to plug in. So how did you come up with your Twitter handle?
At that guy SMW?
Yeah.
That it was my friend Scott Gimple, who is the showrunner for The Walking Dead. We were out, and he's like, he was saying, you've done every genre. He goes, you're that guy. And he's like, that should be your handle, that guy.
Oh, okay. I was always wondering, because I always have trouble finding you. So it's that guy SMW, so I guess SMW, M is your middle name or something? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay, so follow that guy SMW on Twitter, you guys, and that's actually Sean. He does updates of all the cool things he's doing, and
on Facebook you can find me at Sean Whalen Peeps.
Sean Whalen Peeps.
Yeah,
I'm going to write that down.
And I look forward to seeing you at the carpets. If any of the red carpets coming up. Are you going to Tales of Frankenstein?
I'm not going to. No, I didn't know about that.
And what about the other one that we're going? I'm so excited.
I'm going to. I talked to Harley, and it looks like hopefully we're going to be working together in 2019.
Oh, you're going to work with Harley?
We love Harley.
Oh, I love Harley. He's good.
Yeah.
He's a good director.
We have to go, though.
Oh, he's going to get everything.
So everybody,
out of
listen up.
Woo!
Follow Sean Whalen. Follow his career. Sean, congratulations on a wonderful career. Thank you so much for coming on the show. Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween. See you on the carpet.
Alrighty, bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Oh, nice.
Hey, everybody, we'll see you next week. We got Simon Bamford from the Hellraiser films coming on next week. And everybody have a terrific weekend. Thanks for tuning in. Bye,
and
chat room.
Deandra Sorego will be with us next week to say hi to
Bye,
everybody.
B, Pat, Michaela, everybody in the chat room. Thanks for tuning in. And Chad, have a great weekend. Bye, everybody.
Later, fellas.
Jimmy Star, new celebrity.
We'll take you out to Jimmy Star's. He'll dress you right. You'll feel like a star. We'll hook you up. Now you look sexy. Your game is tight. Gonna get laid tonight. You need Jimmy Star. Jimmy Star. You need Jimmy Star. Jimmy Star.
One day I was walking down the street. My mate come up to me and said, "Hey mate, wanna go to a party?"